Welcome back to Trash Panda Off-Road. Today we're going to take the transfer case out of the parts car. Quick reminder, this is a 1990 or 89, I need a reminder myself, tin top Geo Tracker that I bought because I thought I needed the ring and pinion to fix that rig after we went to the Rubicon Trail, but it turns out I just needed axle shafts. So I ended up just taking the axle shafts out, putting them into the other rig, and now it's a parts car. I was thinking about fixing it, but then I went out and bought that car. This one has no motor, no transmission, no transfer case. It had a motor, it had a motor, but it's froze up. So we're going to take the motor, transmission, and transfer case out of the parts car, stick it into the blue car. But the first thing we need to do is take the transfer case off. Getting a quick look under here, first thing we'll have to do is take out that drive line, disconnect the speedometer cable there. We'll go ahead and undo those bolts right there on the transfer case mount, and then probably take this bar off, put a jack underneath the transmission to support it, and then we'll be able to hopefully, in theory, tilt it down a little bit, and then we'll be able to start getting to those bolts on the transfer case. I've been pretty lucky on having original hardware until today. That is what was holding in the rear drive line. 3 different sizes, none of them are metric. And that was holding in the front drive line. All the same size, but not metric. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what other issues we run into as we start tearing this thing apart. Pulled both drive lines out, like I mentioned, and then we cut the exhaust because it was in the way right here. And once we get here, we find another non-OEM bolt. I'm not sure what that is, but I bet it's not a 14. So we'll take that one out. We'll take these 2 out, and that should lower this whole thing down enough. Unhooked the covers here, freed these up, but now I'm a little confused because that transfer case over there is like way long, and this one here doesn't look like it's going to be as long because of the shifter. So I don't know. Let's climb under there and take a look. Maybe I'm just being crazy. Yeah, I got to do some research here because the shifter actually sits on top of the transfer case. The transfer case ends, boy, it's hard to tell, but way up here, right here is where the transfer case ends. But then up here on top is the shifter right there. Go ahead and remove the speedo cable here. It's usually only hand tight. Not a big deal. And then there's a plug on the top that is for the 4-wheel drive light. And then we'll have to figure out how to take the shifter out for the transmission so that we can go ahead and look into unbolting this thing. We're back from doing some research, and we have a new plan. Because this is a parts car and I'm not that concerned about it, we're just going to cut this tunnel. Actually, somebody else has already cut this tunnel. Interesting. I need to break in here and tell you that the research was wrong. The stuff that I found on the internet that said cut the trans tunnel, not correct. You do not have to cut the transmission tunnel. Instead of cutting the transmission tunnel, this is what you do. Once you get all this stuff loose and pulled up out of the way here, these bolts on each side, take those bolts out and actually remove the shifter. Then once you remove the shifter, you take out the brace bolt, or the bracing that runs across the bottom of the transfer case underneath the rig. That'll cause the whole transmission and everything to slip down like that. Then you'll be able to reach your hand in here with a small wrench and get those 5 bolts that are up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last one right there. So that is the correct way to do it. Do not, I repeat, do not cut the transmission tunnel. I was given bad information. That's part of the reason why I make these videos, is to try to get the correct stuff out there. Since I've made this video, I've found out what is possible and what is appropriate, and it is lowering the transmission and transfer case at an angle and removing the shifter, and that will get you enough room to fit in there with some small wrenches. Don't cut the tunnel. But brought a wrench out because I was going to start trying to peel all this stuff back to open this hole up, and it turns out it was just set on there, just like so. So took the stuff out of the way, ta-da, and now maybe you can see, but in order to take the shift tower off, there's a bolt there, and a bolt there, and a bolt there, and a bolt right there, and then one more bolt right here in the back. Where's the camera at? Anyways, right here in the back you can see, maybe, there's another vertical bolt. Trust me, it's there. Trust me, it's there. But once you get those 5 bolts right there, all that work and you still can't see it because it's dark in there. Right there. So once you get those 5 bolts removed, you can take the shift tower off the top of the transfer case, and then you can start undoing the bolts to unhook the transfer case. Got that tower out of there, put it over to the side, and then underneath this tower right here, right there, there is a bolt that is right there. That's the one everybody says is the big pain in the butt, and that's why you have to make this cut and all that stuff. So now we're going to go back under and start taking off all of these bolts. I think there's 12 or 13 of them around here, and we should be able to drop that transfer case off. Oh, there's also this wire right here that goes to that clip right there. I got to unhook that. That's the one that lets you know 4-wheel drive light on the dash. There it is, all pulled out. I ended up having to undo this one here and separate that from the transfer case, and then it was able to drop right out. Took about 2 hours. A lot of that time was hunting down the right tools, because this has been messed with by somebody previously and it was not put back in with the OEM hardware. But on the other side of that, that took up some of the time, was the fact that the trans tunnel was already cut. So I guess it's kind of a wash. About 2 hours to drop that transfer case off. It definitely needs to be pressure washed. I know that this motor leaks from the seal on the distributor, so we'll do that also when we get into here. Maybe a valve cover too. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps somebody out and gives you guys an idea of, like all my videos, an idea of what you'll be getting into if you try to attempt this on your own. They're not really how-to videos. It's just kind of a glance of what it's going to be like. So, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. I'm not a mechanic, so I probably did something wrong, and I'd love to hear about it. Or if there's an easier way, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and that's all for now.